Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Isis, Escape from Transylvania. The goddess next door and John Haynes must escape a horde of vampires on the hunt in this horror-filled Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Escape from Transylvania in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. I was watching a video by Ringo where he talked about nice guys on his Black Male Advice TV channel. And I'm going to leave a link to that video in the description box because there's a lot you can learn about nice guys from that video. Now, as a guy who has studied so-called nice guys for the last decade and a half, I know how deeply dysfunctional these guys are. And when it comes down to the nice guy, one of the reasons why he always finishes last is because he puts everyone else first ahead of himself. Because when it comes down to the nice guy, one of the reasons why he puts everyone else ahead of himself is because he's looking to be liked and not respected. Because when it comes down to the nice guy, he's always looking for someone to like him, not understanding that what a man is supposed to get is respect from people. Because when it comes down to the nice guy, he believes that like is something important. What he doesn't understand is like is an emotion. And like is something people have when they are in their feelings. And when it comes down to the nice guy, in many cases, he's a very emotional guy because he, in many cases, has a very female way of thinking. Because the nice guy is always looking for people to like him, and he doesn't look at how people are treating him. And that's why oftentimes people don't treat him with any respect. And when it comes down to a man, respect is more important than being liked. Because when people respect you, they show you that you have a value to them and they appreciate what you contribute to their lives. People can like you, but if they don't respect you, then they won't have any regard for you at all. And this is where the nice guy runs into many of his problems with women and on the job, because he's always looking for people to like him, and he's always looking for people's approval, and that always puts him in a second best position because he's always looking to get approval and validation from others and not looking for that from himself. Now, a man, when he goes out into the world, he doesn't go out looking for the approval and attention of others. He understands that he has value in himself because God created him and God loves him. And because he understands that God loves him, he then loves himself and then says, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to be the best man that I can be for me, not for other people. So when other people don't approve of him, he just doesn't care. And that's why people respect a man, because a man goes out here and does what he needs to do because he's doing it for himself. And he's doing it for himself because he understands the only person who's going to meet his needs is himself. And that's why a man puts himself first, because he understands he is the only person who is going to take care of him at the end of the day, and he is the only one who is going to meet his needs. So a man puts himself first, and in many cases he puts himself last because he understands he is the only one out here who is going to look out for number one. But when it comes down to the nice guy, he's always looking for others to look out for him, and then he winds up deeply disappointed when these people don't look out for him in the way that he expects them to look out for him. Because everything with the nice guy is about things being implied. Because the nice guy, he's expecting people to do things for him in these covert contracts, but he never states exactly what he wants. Because when it comes down to the nice guy, this is the guy who will orbit around women, he will go out here and buy them lunch, but he will never state his intentions from minute one. A man, when he sees a woman that he likes, he's going to walk up to her and clearly state his intentions, and the female's going to know what the deal is with this guy from minute one, that this man is interested in being in a romantic relationship, or he's interested in taking her out. She knows up front what things are. But with the nice guy, what he does is he sits there in the friend zone, hoping, wishing, and praying to muster up enough courage to finally state his intentions. And usually, when he does, his timing is so bad that he winds up striking out, because usually the nice guy has been in the friend zone, listening to this woman's problems, listening to everything that she does, going out and doing her errands, walking her dog, dealing with all of her problems, being her personal maid and butler. But at the end of the day, usually he doesn't get a relationship because he never stated his intentions from minute one. Usually, when it comes down to the nice guy, he's just sitting there thinking that he can turn a friendship into love, not understanding that women usually choose the man they want to be with within the first 5 seconds of looking at him. Usually, a woman who was interested in a man sexually, she knows from looking at this man in the first 5 seconds, and usually she makes herself emotionally and physically available for that man. But the nice guy thinks that running errands and being her friend will mean an actual relationship. No, that means a friendship, and that's something that the nice guy agrees to in many cases, because he believes that if he makes this covert contract where he's her friend, eventually she'll figure out that he's actually in love with her. Usually this guy is so full of crap that it's not even funny, because when it comes down to the nice guy, he is one of the biggest liars in the game. And the biggest lies he tells are to himself, because he believes that he is being nice to people, when in actuality, he's an insecure, extremely needy person who latches onto people like a parasite. And when it comes down to the nice guy, he attaches himself to people and sucks energy out of people, because when it comes down to the nice guy, he's only being nice in the hopes of getting something in return, and he's not with that person being kind to them because he truly cares about them. And again, that's a big difference between a nice guy and a kind guy. A kind guy comes from his heart and he gives because he wants the person to be happy, or he wants to help the person move ahead in their life. He's supporting the person in the hopes of them getting things right. But the nice guy, he gives people in the hopes of getting something in return, but he never states that. And that's why he's extremely dishonest. And that's why people eventually, over time, start to hate nice guys, because nice guys aren't very nice. And when they can't get their way, that's when the nice guys, that's when they become extremely passive aggressive, and that's when they become extremely nasty. And it's not common for a nice guy who doesn't get what he wants to lash out at the very same people who he was friends with because things didn't go his way. And it's not common for a nice guy to go out here and do things like stalk women or sexually assault them when they decline his advances, because oftentimes when it comes down to this nice guy, he's living in a world of rose-colored glasses. And in his world, he sees everything from a very distorted picture. So whenever you deal with this nice guy, he's not very nice at all. And because a nice guy isn't very nice, he attracts a lot of predators around him. And this is one of the things people really don't understand about the nice guy, is that they think, oh, he was such a nice guy and people did him dirty. No, the people who you usually circulated around are just like him. They're just as predatory as he is, and all they're doing is seeing how much they can get out of him before he can get anything out of them. Because again, when it comes down to the nice guy, he has a covert contract, and usually he's looking to use women for things like social currency and sex, and usually the women who are with him are looking to use him for resources. Usually in an interdependent relationship with a normal, regular man, usually he's upfront about what he wants, and he tells people what he wants upfront from minute one. But with the nice guy, he's always looking for a covert deal, and because he's always looking for a covert deal, he usually winds up with a raw deal, because usually the people who he's trying to use him first, And that's why he usually winds up being broomed to the curb, bitter and broke. He may appear soft on the outside, but usually there's a lot of sinister motivations with this nice guy. There's nothing, again, nice about nice guys. They are often foolish because they walk into things with these rose colored glasses, and they often walk in there with the rose colored glasses thinking that they are going to be smarter than someone else, better than someone else, and what usually winds up happening is they wind up getting exploited, getting taken advantage of, and being made a complete fool out of. And that's why they wind up getting so angry at the end of the day. Because, again, the nice guy tells lies to himself that he is good, that he is friendly, that he is doing things for the right reasons, when in actuality, he's always had a sinister agenda underneath things. And then what happens is that the people already see him coming, and because they see him coming, they take advantage of him and make a complete fool out of him. This is why many of these so-called nice guys turn into misogynists, because what happens is that these people who they were looking to use wind up using them, and then they want to wind up saying that all women are bad, when in actuality it was his motivations for pursuing those women that are bad. Because whenever you sit down and talk to a nice guy, that's when you start to realize that this guy really is not what he seems. Because he'll sit there, and when he talks about women, he'll sit there and talk about what he's going to get out of the woman, which is social currency, by having an attract women on his arm, and having the ability to get sex out of the woman. But he won't talk about things as related to her internal character, because he doesn't have any internal character himself. And that's why I say he is who he attracts, because when it comes down to the nice guy, again, he's not very nice. He's really very needy, he's very insecure, and he's very, very dangerous to deal with, because when it comes down to the nice guy and he can't get his way, that's when you need to watch out. Because when the nice guy can't get his way, again, this is the kind of guy who will go out here and he will stalk women, he will go out here and sexually assault women, and he will go out here and participate in things like mass shootings or other sorts of violence. Because when it comes down to the nice guy, he wants to have the smooth world, and when his world is not smooth and he's not getting what he wants, he then wants to destroy the world, because he feels like he can't get his needs met. And that's one of the big problems with the nice guy, is that he does not know how to get his needs met like a man. Because as a soft male, in most cases, this nice guy believes that if he sits there and acts there with the puppy dog eyes, people will anticipate him and try to meet his needs and try to figure out what he wants, instead of going out here and going for what he wants and stating clearly what he wants. And that's why the nice guy finishes last, because he never puts himself first, and he never puts himself in a position to put himself first. Because when it comes down to the nice guy, he's expecting people to do for him what he should be doing for himself. And because he's looking for people to do for him what he should be doing for himself, that's why he winds up getting used. Because when people do things for you, they're doing them for themselves. And they're looking to get ahead for themselves, because no one is going to go do something unless they're expecting to get something out of it. And this is something the nice guy doesn't understand. He thinks that people will expect to give him what he wants based on what he's implying. But in most real life situations, if you don't state clearly what you want, you don't get anything at the end of the day. And that's why the nice guy is extremely disappointed in most cases in life, because he's expecting people to figure out what he wants instead of stating clearly exactly what he wants. There's nothing really nice about a nice guy. When it comes down to the nice guy, he's the simp who sits there and puts women first and submits and defers to them. And then when the women use him, he's all upset and mad. But in actuality, it's all about him never taking the lead and just being a follower. And whenever you follow someone, you get whatever they give you. You don't get what you want at what you want if you put yourself first. And this is why the nice guy, again, finishes last, because he always puts himself first. And because he always puts himself last, the world puts him last and sees him as the joke at the end of the day. You don't want to be nice when you're out here in the world. You want to be honest, you want to be kind, and you want to be fair and balanced. There's nothing wrong with being kind, because kind people are honest about their motivations. They're honest about what they expect in a relationship. And when it comes down to men, they can have moments of kindness when they are being compassionate. But most men are usually clear about everything that they want to do, everything that they're about, and they're straightforward and upfront from minute one. And that's why men get respect, because men stand up for what they believe in, men stand up for what they believe is right, and men have the courage to do what they want to do up front, not like the nice guy who hides behind people and hides behind situations and then creates covert deals to get what they want, and then gets upset when things don't go the way they want it. If you want to be a man is going to be straightforward, a man is going to be upfront, a man is going to be honest about what he wants, a man is going to clearly state his intentions, and a man is not going to look for like when he deals with people. He's going to look for respect, because when people respect a man, they understand clearly what they're going to be dealing with, and they understand when they deal with that man, they're going to deal with him on his terms, and they understand that when they deal with him on his terms, they are going to clearly get what they want from a relationship, and they understand what things are going to be from day one. And that's one of the big problems with the nice guy, is no one knows where they stand with him, and because they don't know where they stand with him, they wind up leading him wherever they want to go, and then when after they get what they want, they leave him at the curb, bitter and broke. You don't want to be a nice guy. You want to be a man, because a man knows where he's going. He sets a course for himself. He sets a direction for himself, and he sets the standards. He sets the tone, and he lives life on his own terms and God's terms, and he goes his own way, not looking for someone to lead him someplace and give him possibly whatever he wants, like the nice guy. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to learn more about men's issues, you can pick up my Simp series books on Amazon.com. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.